Hello guys and dolls, ladies and gents, welcome back to the Janay Show. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you a prophetic word, and it's important to test the spirit. Make sure you're taking this back to God because not every prophetic word is for you. I had a dream about maybe a month ago, and what was interesting in the dream was it was in this stadium or place that had lots of seats, and pretty much it was women in line, and then what you couldn't really see that was off to the side was there were men in line, and a particular well-known person was in my dream, and that was Steve Harvey. So pretty much let him come to you is what God was saying to me in this dream, and for other people to know that as well, because I was kind of like an observer, so I was just watching, and Steve Harvey was there, and he was pretty much saying, let him come to you. Now we know about Steve Harvey and his relationship advice, but that's not why he was in the dream. He was in a dream for more like comedic, what do you call it? He was in the dream more as like a comedian, not for like the advice, okay? So just take note of that. So the women were wearing like this shirt. It said Proverbs 31 woman. And the guys were wearing the Ephesians 5 shirt. And it was like the women were coming up. The men were down here. And it was like Steve Harvey was kind of the host. And the women could see like the men. And the first woman that was in line, she was actually probably an older lady, maybe in her like 40s or 50s. For some of you that are around that age range and you feel like, God, is there a mate out there for me? Have you forgotten about me? God is saying no. So they were in line, and they were just like so impatient, and they were like wanting to come forward. So they were in line and they could see, and some of you know who your kingdom spouse is already, and if you don't, that's okay. But some of you, God has revealed that to you, for you to pray and intercede for them. And so what pretty much was taking place was they were standing in line, but they were getting anxious and antsy, and they were like this, trying to step forward. And Steve Harvey was saying, let him come to you. And they weren't necessarily listening, because sometimes I feel like we're like that with God, right? God gives us instructions and we don't always listen because we're excited, we're anxious, whatever, and we're just excited. And so the ladies kept stepping forward, and Steve Harvey was just like this in the corner, like, didn't I tell you, let him come to you? And so I just thought that was so funny. And then that pair was joined, they were off, and then the next pair was brought together. But thinking about the symbolism behind everything and how the women had the Proverbs 31 woman shirt on, the men had Ephesians 5 shirt on, they were paired. And for some of you, you are a little excited. Some of you might be more anxious. And especially some of you who know who it is, you're like trying to just like, and God is like, let him come to you. Let him come to you. And so I just thought that was funny. I just thought that it was funny that Steve Harvey was the symbolism of like that comedic factor of, I feel like what God feels like with us, just like sometimes I feel like God is just like, because he gives us instructions and he gives us orders, and sometimes we want to do it in our time, or we want to step ahead of God or move. And it's important because how in the dream everyone was lined up and it was at an appointed time. And it was funny because some of us, we feel like we've been waiting in line forever. We've been waiting. We're like, God. Some of y'all have even given up and like you just don't believe that God has a mate for you because you've been waiting so long. You've been waiting in God's waiting room for so long that you feel like if it hasn't happened yet, it's not going to happen, and that's not true. In this dream particularly, there were a lot of older women who had been waiting, and I could tell they had been waiting a while. So I just found that interesting, and I wanted to share this because as I was dreaming this, my role in this dream was the observer. I was just observing what was taking place. And so I just want to encourage you. I'm writing a book about this, about, the journey, the process, waiting for your kingdom spouse and what that looks like and the things that God has us go through and how he strengthens us through certain tests and trials. And so that's what I'm currently working on now. I'm hoping that it will be complete by the summer. But yeah, please like, subscribe, and comment. Share with me. Have you been feeling a little too excited or anxious in the wait, and you maybe even want to kind of step out a little bit, move forward, or pursue the guy? Let me know. I really want this to be a community and a conversation where we get to talk about how people are really feeling, because I think sometimes we see other couples or other people and we think it's supposed to be this exact fairy tale story or this perfect story, and sometimes God is going to take us through certain things and the process is not easy. And also sometimes we ourselves put ourselves through unnecessary processes because we step out of God's order or we move too soon. Just like in the dream, the lady wanted to move too quickly, too soon, because she saw him and she was getting ready. She was like, and Steve Harvey was like, didn't I tell you, let him come to you? So if God has told you to let him come to you, do that. Listen to God, because he knows the right time, the right order, everything that needs to fall into place. All right, I love you all. Thank you so much for watching my YouTube channel, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.